Hello. Hello, Akira and the Jib. How are we doing? Are we well? And Cresp. There's a Cresp here. Who invited them? How you doing? Wave. Oh, it's me! Oh, I thought I'd heard it before. Sounded familiar. I invited me? I don't remember doing that. But yeah, how is our Wednesday going? Wednesday. Woensdag. We having a good one? Possibly sleepy? Possibly not. We're having one. Well, that's marvellous. You're rather annoying if you suddenly woke up after a Tuesday and went, hang on, it's Thursday, what happened? Music's a bit loud. I'm guessing it's loud, I don't know. Very tricky to tell with audio. A pure volume meter is usually not enough to ascertain. Yeet. So. Swoosh. Ah, what a transition to a basically blank scene. Tommy's been kind of confused after every meal the whole day. Oh no. That's not very good. And tired from working out. Low energy kind of thing. That's fine. Hero has also professed their potential for sleep. Proof that you are indeed very tired. Usually you type out the word for the emoji you want, then select the emoji when autocorrect suggested. You just straight up didn't there and didn't realise for 5 seconds after saying wave. Oh, that's fine, you just say wave. Oh no, indeed. Very low energy. It's fine, nothing dramatic's gonna happen today. Pauses for effect. The honk of a train heard outside. I was worked on Jupiter painting yesterday. Then at the end of it decided you hated it and still hate it today. It'd be like that, didn't it? Look, if it's any consolation, I still haven't drawn a picture of Carlo I like. One day, a poor man will get a nice picture. Okay, so quick recap of what happened last time. The rough story so far. An acting troupe called Tantalus went to the city of Alexandria to kidnap the princess under the guise of performing a play. Turns out the princess wanted to be kidnapped. Princess Zorlorolda. She wanted to be kidnapped anyway, so that's handy. However, the knight in shining armor, James, thought, no. How dare you kidnap the princess, even if she says she wants to. This is clearly a trick. And also there's a little black mage called Vivi who's having a time and got caught up in the mess. During the escape, their ship got shot down into the forest, and that's where we started last stream. A bunch of people got thrown off the ship, and Simeon, ostensibly the protagonist, but you can... In this Drawthrough, you can perfectly happily decide not to. Hi, Lois, how you doing? Yee-haw indeed. Haw ye. My haws to ye. That sounds worse. So Simeon's like, we need to go find the princess. She's been knocked off the ship. And the leader of the acting troupe's like, nope. We need to look after us and us first. Because a lot of people were injured in the crash. Master Baby Vivi and James got infected by some plants. But that's fine. Because March, the only competent member of this troupe, had potions to help them out. After a small confrontation, it is decided that yes, okay, Simeon can go off and find the princess, but basically he's out of the group now. So the group will look after themselves, he'll go off find the princess. It'll all get reconciled, you know, theoretically in the future. Simeon decides to recruit both James, who obviously has a vested interest in finding the princess and making sure she's safe, and also Vivi, because he can make fire out of nowhere. That's impressive. And it's good in a forest. James also suggests the idea that maybe Master Baby Vivi, can set his sword on fire. Because he's very excited about that idea. Anyway, we go through the forest. Well, just before we leave, March is like, hey, do you want that potion that gives people of the horrible disease for the princess? That's probably a good idea. And Simeon's like, oh yeah, that's probably a good idea. Anyway, we find the princess underneath the horrible plant monster. And we fight it. And during the fight, March comes along and goes, haha.
It's wedged shut. It figures.
He says that. He says that it's wedged shut. Luckily, he's clever and he works out a way of unwedging the plant, and that kills it. Where's that one book meme, the huge book and the small book? That's Final Fantasy 9 with March getting petrified of Final Fantasy 9. Without March getting petrified, yeah. So yeah, we fight the plant. Unfortunately, it turns out that's the brain of the forest, plant brain, and the forest starts chasing after us, being all angry that it doesn't have a brain anymore. And in saving the rest of the group and throwing us a map that is why March actually came out to meet us, he gets tangled up in these plant tendrils and gets turned into stone because the whole forest is being turned to stone without a brain. We did this. How you doing, Dark Carrot? Oh yeah, these little friends that are chasing you. After a brief, discussion as to what happened here, with Sibian being rather upset that his friend is now made of stone, and James now being very upset that whole thing happened to the princess, and Vivi being very tired and needing a nap. We decide, okay, this is probably a good idea. We're gonna go to Lindblom, because there's no real good way of getting back to the castle from here, because we fell down a ravine. We can't go back into the forest because that's now made of stone. Repeat is not a challenge in Inferno. Look, I'm playing a mischief maker. This is something you got to deal with. Also, I don't know the mechanics of the game, so the thing's definitely going to go wrong. Yeah, so it's decided that they're going to go to Lindblom. That's where the princess wants to go. That's where Simeon wants to go. Vivi's just along for the ride at this point, and James has been convinced, look, princess wants to go there. Your job is to protect the princess. Just help us do that. Lindblom's a safe place. It's a good place. Nothing wrong there. Allies with Alexandria, everything's fine. There's no weird boundary system. We're not crossing over to enemy lines or anything like that. This is a perfectly reasonable plan. Apparently also Gil is in the background for reasons. It's at this point that a Moogle comes along and says, hey, do you want a flute? And also a knife. Only threaten you with a knife. If you play the flute too much. And that's just so that you can call a Moogle anywhere and they can come along and help save the game. So yeah, it's decided, let's go to Lindblom. Unfortunately, bit of an issue. We're in a ravine. Vivi, however, says, oh, my grandpa told me that there's a cave around here somewhere. So we go looking for we're in this big sort of, is it a ravine if it's a circle? I don't know. Thank you, Chief. There we go. Good stuff. So yeah, we're in this ravine. There's something I did actually forget to mention. A couple of things that are rather important as the story goes on. The first is that there are just sort of dotted around, basically everywhere around the land, there are these sort of like massive tree roots. It's not particularly important at the moment, but they're very big and they're around, and it's worth pointing them out now because no one in the game points them out, but they're there. There is also lots of triangles, Doritos. There's a lot of mist. In fact, I think the game tells you once you get out into this open area that you are on the Mist Continent. It's a very misty place. And there's a couple of issues with this. Firstly, it's misty. Secondly, mist is where monsters come from. Monsters are formed in the mist. But it's not all bad, because mist is also what people use to power like airships and things. So They're big and around. Not what I meant. They use mist is sort of what they use like instead of steam power or whatever. Although I think they've just invented steam power. I think that's the thing. But mist is the standard. You know, if you have a machine, it runs on mist. So we find our way to the entrance of this cavern that Vivi's grandpa mentioned. And James is like, "Oh wow, your grandpa must be a very learned person." And Vivi's like, "Well, he died." And James feels bad. But also, his grandpa didn't mention anything about ice, and this place is full of ice. It's very, very cold, and there's also a lot of mist coming out of this. It's sort of spewing out as they're standing there. Very frosty. Steam power, but with extra magic or something. Who knows? They're developing technology. This is a world that's changing, you know. Cool. And yeah, they go into this place. There's also a flan here. I don't know why I decided to draw a flan. That is an enemy in the game called a flan. It attacks you by stretching itself and headbutting you. In a big floppy animation. Right. In we go to the ice cavern. Or whatever it's called. I think it's just called the ice cavern. We'll work with that. It's very cold. It's also weak to magic. Yeah. Probably fire, right? Burn, Vivi, burn. Speaking of burning, Vivi's in his element here because Vivi, you know, pretty good at setting things on fire. That's kind of how a lot of the story happened. And we're in an ice cavern, so often when there's some sort of obstacle, Vivi can just sort of come along and melt it. What with him having fire and such. This is itself a reference to Final Fantasy IV, but it doesn't. Gotta warm up my doodling with a little Vive. Casting a big old fireball. Also, apologies if my drawing is a little strange today. I got my new screen protector for my tablet through, but its texture is rather different to what I'm used to using, so it's going to take a little bit of adjusting. But hey, my screen's protected, so hurrah. It's not that bad, but when it's oddly enough is when I'm trying to draw lightly, it's more noticeable. If I'm trying to draw heavy, it doesn't really matter, but with a light touch, it's a little more grippy. You just gotta get used to it. But hey, it came through. Hurrah. There's my little strange sheep, Vivi. Imagine protecting your screen, huh? Yeah, so there's a bunch of like ice walls and frozen tree trunks and things in this cavern that Vivi can just sort of melt with a big old fireball. Another thing that you can melt with a big old fireball is any hapless little Moogle what is stuck in ice. Because we just find a Moogle stuck in ice. Which is a bit weird. If you think about it, that was some very quick ice being formed. Also up on a pedestal for some reason. A Moogsicle. That's a synth, I think. frozen Moogle. Nope, can't think of anything better than Moogsicle. Leave it there, I suppose. Yeah, so you can free them by burning the ice away. You do ever so slightly singe them. And they do run around, and I think they call you a bastard, but eventually they realize, oh, you saved me, thanks. Yee. For some reason, I think you meet, what do we call him, Muffin? For some reason, I thought you met Muffin here, but you don't. There's a letter that says that Muffin passed through here. But for some reason, I have this false memory of actually meeting Muffin here. But Muffin has been through here, so we're following Muffin's path, at least. Muffin's on a trip. Muffin the Moogle. Is they don't get boiled. Yeah, good point. I imagine the melting, the water from the melting ice probably helped alleviate some of the burn. But yeah, so that happens. Anyway, you carry on through this place. And everyone, we're all walking along and it's all very cold. Let's just do a quick little practice for all the characters. Being all cold. Looking at little Wallace and Gromedy, it's fine. Oh, don't forget the Moogle hood. It's cold, there's icicles and stuff. I imagine Vivi's fine. Got that big puffy coat. Nice warm gloves. Can conjure fire at will. You know, fine. Talk amongst yourselves. How's game prep going, Dark? How cold is it to walk around in plate armor? Must be pretty nippy. Going well. Nice. I know you're very excited. Is there any like specific D&D stuff that I should probably look up beforehand so that I don't hold things up too much by not knowing what anything is? Is there like a basic rule book I should look at? You're 46% sure no one will die until the first circle. Nice. We're not allowed to die. That's one of the rules of hell. Death is not allowed. That sounds like a challenge. Don't say those words. You're not dark, but generally think you don't have to look up any rules. Got most of the combat rules through Solasta, though Dark doesn't differentiate between actions and main actions. Well, Dark clearly doesn't know the rules of D&D, does it? Anyway, yes, we're walking through the ice caverns, having a lovely time. Beware the Dark is controlling the enemies, though, not some AI. True. We cannot rely on them being silly and sending identical dectuplets after. That was very quiet. Grumpy face. Was that very quiet, or are my ears just very quiet? Possibly. Anyway. Or is OBS quiet? Nope, that's full volume. It's alright then. Anyway. We're walking through the ice caverns. We're having a lovely chat. Calm down, music. Maybe I shouldn't have turned it up in my ears. Anyway, we're walking through the ice caverns. And all of a sudden, Vivi starts feeling very tired again. It's very tired. It's had a bad day. And it starts feeling a little tired, a little disoriented, and then just sort of falls face first into the ice. Combat is the thing that has the most rules in D&D, though if you want something to do, you'd recommend listing which spells of yours are bonus actions and which ones are actions. It'll save some time, because you can never remember. That's fair. That's probably important. There are actually insensible ways to the situation. It's not good. Anyway, everybody rushes over to Vivi and is like, "Hey Vivi, you alright? You're having a sleep?" At which point, Princess falls asleep too. Which is not ideal. At this point, Will panics. Will? James? Will? Some guy. James panics. It is James. James Will some guy. Thank you, yes. I'm never gonna get his name right. Google lets you roll any dice. So you could load up on a lot of dice in one roll. If Roll20 on the online dice don't work. Hey. Or I can get my own dice and definitely tell you exactly what I rolled. James, nicknamed Will. Not nicknamed some guy. Nicknamed some space guy. But actually named some guy. Anyway, that guy, he also falls asleep. This, slightly peculiar. I think you'll all agree. It's nap time. We just trekked across a big old ravine. We're a bit tired. It's very cold in here. Have a bit of a nap. James' nickname Will because we had to name Beatrix and name Jesse and James. Yes, that's probably how I should remember it, really. Simeon just didn't get the memo. Simeon also falls asleep, but he very quickly wakes up because he hears a noise. A dinging noise. Ding, 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 ding. That's a ting. A chime, a ding, a little bell. Happening in the distance, which obviously wakes everybody up, you know? Tiny little bells. I mean, I guess that's what alarm clocks were, now that I think about it. So yeah, Simeon wakes up and he's like, what was that? What's going on? Cuthbert? Is it Cuthbert? And he comes across... I should probably have like a default Simeon that I could just use for like... Oh, actually, hang on, I might do. I have to find it. I reckon around here. Perfect. Although you are slightly obscured. It's a good enough start. This was when he was in his disguise, but that's fine. Minor changes. That's right, he finds a miner. No, that's not true. For these Cuthbert innocence without. Maybe. A minor character. Now, okay, I'm gonna confess, the next few bosses, I'm not really that sure on the details. You'll see the issue, but I'll try my best to differentiate things and make them clear. They're making ice, so they should be all fluffy. And they're carrying a little bell, and they're going ding-a-ling-a-ling. It's a big old wizard. Black magey thing. It's like a Vivi, but big. And grumpy. And it goes, so. You managed to resist my sleeping magic, I see. And fight your way through my great frost winds. I don't know if it sounds like this. I'm imagining it sounds like this. I don't think it is kneeling down, but it's like hunched over. It's close to the floor anyway. Yeah, and he's dinging his little bell, which is presumably his sort of magic casting thing. And he's like, well, there goes that plan. To kidnap the princess while she's asleep. No matter, I'll take you out myself. Does he introduce himself? I guess so. No, not when he does it after the fight, which is a bit of a weird. No, he doesn't do it after the fight. We'll be back. Things will happen. Anyways, this is not huge, but it's relatively big compared to Vivi, certainly. What is huge, however, is the thing he summons to help with the fight. Now I know what this thing looks like even less. So, but we got our second boss fight, which is sea lion? Question mark. I'm not entirely sure why it's called a sea lion. It looks more like an ice dragon, but. Probably gonna need more space. Kiro, any help on what this looks like? All I remember about this fight is it's kind of annoying because it's just Simeon. So you've got to be dealing damage and healing and just paying attention to everything that you'd usually split other party members up into doing. And this thing's sort of made of ice crystals, I think, which makes my job very easy. Big wings, big tail. Well, that's off screen now. Yeah, Simeon. Yeah, so Simeon versus this guy, who I'm assuming we're calling Cuthbert. Ring-a-ding-ding, it's Cuthbert. I'm always a fan in fantasy of like non-traditional magic casting items. So the idea of using a little bell to cast magic is kind of fun. I like that in Dark Souls 2 as well. You have like chimes as miracle casting. And that's one of the ideas I was most pleased of in Project Veer, actually, was death casting magic with a wreath. I like that idea. That's stuck in my head. Have fun with shapes. Which reminds me, this is a plan I have for tomorrow morning's stream. Gonna do something slightly different. It's also got a big old gem in its chest, which is a particular colour, and I think if you don't kill Cuthbert quick enough, it makes the enemy invincible or something? I can't remember, it's been a while. It's Cuthbert. Yeah, this is very much one of those fights of like, this is here for the story. This is here because they wanted a cool looking boss. Give it mandibles and the wings are knife-like. I was trying to go with that sort of sharp thing with the wings. It's not entirely working, but mandibles, you say? I don't remember that at all, but we'll go with it. Crystal mandibles. Big tail. What I just thought of another brush I could make, but not now. Anything that's in layers. Because I have my bush brush, which I like to use on occasion, just to go like, here's the edge of the bush. I could do that, but with like a line of crystals. But that's not something to be done in the middle of a drawthrough. Yeah, it looks like this thing's made like purely of crystal, as far as I recall. Yeah, very crystally. Also seems to be some ribs around the jewel. That's a detail I'm not going to spend time working on. It's one of those things. You get the point. It's a big old ice dragon thing, kind of. But it's not a dragon, it's a sea lion, and it's not ice, it's crystal. Well, it might be ice. No, it's not ice type, is it? It's just crystal. Well, actually, it might be ice type, but you can't use any elemental attacks because you're just a guy with a knife. Sorry, a guy with 2 knives. Mr. Simeon enjoys dual-wielding daggers. Or, later on, you can take 2 of those daggers, sellotape them together, and turn it into a twin blade. Which always looked much cooler, in my opinion. One second. Apologies, hay fever has not been kind to me recently. Scrapping this entire penny of Jupiter. Oh no. Well, it'll be a thing you can look at and go, right. Not that. Sometimes it'd be like that. Sometimes it'd be like that, but here's the thing, You did it. You tried. Sometimes the whims of fates are not on your side for making it work, but you don't know till you try, and actually trying is a big thing. Because I don't. OBS, what are you doing? OBS is also trying. My patience! Right, okay, cool. So you do this fight, which sounds very exciting, if the music's anything to go by. So you do this fight, you take out Cuthbert, you take out the Cecil, the sea lion. If anyone gets that reference, I will be astounded. Everyone's trying. Tried, and you're going to share your attempt with the group because you put way too many hours into this, but ignore that it's supposed to be Jupiter. It's not Jupiter. Okay, so you made a cool picture of someone that isn't Jupiter. What reference? Cecil being a clever sea lion. Cecil sometimes sits. And often swims. You tried something, exactly. I also tried something with Carlo and that didn't work. So we're 1 for 1. Didn't work out for your vision, but you kind of like it, but you hate it. That, yeah, I definitely get that. I know what you mean. There's also different facets of expectation when it comes to something you're making, and it can satisfy some of them but not others, and it's all a weird balance. Luckily, I had absolutely no idea what Cuthbert looked like, so... And he's got a mask on. Hurrah! Didn't work out for you? Yeah. Sorry, I just reread that. No idea what Jupiter looks like, just not like this. Yeah. You could, if you wanted to, because of the setting, you could just have like less explicit facial features and more just fire. You know, you can use the setting to your advantage of the ambiguity of appearance. Just an idea, just throw it out there. Ooh. Ooh, it looks cool. I like the colors. You posted it, now you can scrap it. Also doesn't help that your sleepy mind right now is going to Final Fantasy IV, Cecil, which it isn't, right? You've heard that ref before. Probably from me. For some reason it's stuck in my head and I know nobody else knows it. Like the colours and stuff, it's just not Jupiter, yeah. You'll get there. I believe in you. You do good things. Right, Drawthrough. Yeah, brain. So, you dispatch Cuthbert and the Cecil. And by dispatching Cuthbert, the horrible freezing mist stops. Hooray, that's nice. But you hear from a voice above. What does it say? Something like, "You may have defeated Black Waltz 1, but grumble grumble vague threat." And we zoom up to see the hats of a couple of jesters. So yeah, we defeat them, and we go back to our party, who are all waking up and going, "Oh god, what happened?" And Simeon's like, "Nothing really, it's fine." And everyone's like, "Well, we all fell asleep. That's the thing." Simeon's like, "Nah, don't worry about it." And then James gets very suspicious, like, "What did you do to the princess while she was asleep?" I said, "Calm down, mate. Didn't do anything. There's a way out here, alright? It's stop being cold and sleepy. We can leave now." So then they all get up and leave. And we exit the ice cavern. Having a much better time than the art of the classes. Yeah, the art of the class is not having a great time. I wouldn't have a great time if I was on fire inside me. Yeah, the mist of the cold air that had been blowing around is now stopped. The implication being that Cuthbert was the cause of all that, which is why the cavern was icy when it shouldn't have been, and why, you know, all that stuff. Why the Moogle froze solid immediately. Anyway, we leave. And we overlook a little pasture with a town in the distance. The old town's got a windmill. And there's also a little sort of lookout tower thing up here. Bunch of little fields along the way. But we're still not quite out of the ravine. There's still a long way. Lindblom's up there somewhere. So we still need to work out where to go. There is a gate from here that will take us on a footpath up to the city. However, the gate's shut, so we've got to find a new way to get through. Because game design. Nice sleep town, yes. While we're overlooking this, we had a little conversation. In fact, Zorlda decides to have a bit of a chat about the fact that, hey, we're going to need to go to this town and try and find a way to get to the city, to get to Lindblom. Probably don't want to be too suspicious And the princess, oh, she does speak rather posh, you know. She's a princess. She's always referring to wand. All that sort of thing. And so she's like, should probably, you know, learn to speak a little more common, basically. And there's an argument because James is like, how princess, do not bring yourself down to this level. And she's like, I don't want to be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Insert Beth and Misha. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. One thing about it, the more FF16 reminds you of FF9, just in lots of little ways. Oh, that's fun. Found yet more creatures in the dang book, which were only for one encounter. That's hell for you. It specializes. So while James and Simeon are having an argue, as they do, James is like, "No, princess, you must behave in a princessly way. Do not bring yourself down to the level of these ruffians." And James is like, Simeon's like, she wants to try and blend in, so on and so forth. And I think he says, like, he gives her a few tips on, like, things she can say and things that Vivi says that she sort of copies, like saying howdy instead of greetings. Vivi says howdy, by the way. There's a bush here. For the sake of drawing, there's a bush there. They're having a jolly little argument. What? Simeon, what is your hair? Will I ever understand your hair? Anyway, while this happens, Zoralda nicks one of Simeon's daggers. And she's like, what's this? What's this called? Because apparently she's never seen a dagger before. Howdy, my Tomodachi. According to Simeon, Vivi says howdy. We also like the idea of Vivi saying howdy. Yeah. So she grabs one of his daggers and she said, what's this called? And Simeon goes, oh, that's a dagger. She goes, right, cool. Because I was just thinking, if I'm going to be in disguise here, trying not to be the princess, I'm going to need a fake name. You say this is called a dagger, right? Yeah? Right, that settles it. I will call myself. The choice is yours. I personally really like this scene, because she's like, this is a dagger, you say. Well, in that case, my nickname will be, and then you insert something that has nothing to do with daggers. So yes, you get to choose Zoralda's alias. Butter knife. Vivi's in the bush, I don't know what. Jib Crest try to avoid casting spells with a 500 GP plus cost component. Doesn't work in hell. Those are words. If you just wanted to be in the bush. You like to just straight up name her original name because you liked it. That's fair. That's even funnier. I need an alias from Zorlorolda. I will call myself Zorlorolda. Very silly cutscene. There's only one way this cutscene makes sense, and that is if you use the default name, which is Dagger, unsurprisingly. Anything else you put in is just silly. Spork's good. There is a character later on in the game who would be more benefit being called Spork, because they use a spork as a weapon. But you can call Zorlorolda Spork. Bear in mind, she's probably going to be called this for most of the game now, which is why I wasn't too worried about Zorlorolda. Keeping Spork for later. I like Butter Knife. Butter Knife's good. Butter for short. This will be a name for a while. What about the princess? This is possible. She's not the princess, it's the princess. The princess isn't the princess. That'd be ridiculous. In order to not arouse suspicion, do not call me Princess Zorlorolda. I demand you call me Princess Butterknife. Are we going Princess Butterknife? Princess is a first name, obviously. E. I also like that this acts also as a kind of insult towards Simeon's weapons. What are these? They're called daggers. Looks like a butter knife to me. She's great at thinking of aliases. She's amazing. She read The Princess Bride and was inspired. She did a lot of reading back in the castle. She's very well read. James, you don't have hands. It also doesn't matter because we're moving on from this scene. So yeah, with this new knowledge and information in tow, the Princess Zorlorolda is in disguise as a commoner called Princess Butterknife. Simeon's real weapon is his sluttiness. True, good point. March actually had impressive daggers. March had a sword, I think. Banana had daggers. No, Banana had a sword. Alexander the First had a hammer. Remember that. The most impressive dagger. A sword. Like the most impressive sword is a great sword. It feels like a gank from Anchorman? I don't know. The only thing I know about Anchorman is I love lamp. That's all I know about it. March and Banana Min had swords. Yeah. Anyway, Princess Butterknife, Master Baby Vivi, Simeon Slut. What was his full name? Can't remember. And James Will some guy. James Will some guy. That sounds like a threat. Oh, Simeon MN Slut. Yes, the MN stands for middle name. Of course it does. Of course it does. They head towards the small village. The small, sleepy little border village called Dali. Don't know why it's called Dali, just is. And they arrive and they go to the inn to have a little bit of a rest because they've walked through in valleys and caves and all that, and they're a bit tired and they want to rest before they look around asking for help and stuff. Dali is AI generated. No, it's literally like Salvador Dali, which is why I named my version of the music for that area. What did I call it? Salviador. Anyway, we are greeted by a sleeping Muppet. I'm just going to take it that in this world, Muppets are actually a thing. Because there's quite a lot of characters who just kind of look like Muppets. Salvador Dali, or up north, we call him Salidale. Old salad bowl. What? With your scrabble tiles on the on a table for names. Well, there's a lot of reference to like European, particularly Germanic things. The etymology for bits and bobs, like the Knights of Pluto have like and named after villages in Germany and stuff. And there's a lot of Shakespearean references as well. That man is an undercover clown. No, all clowns are undercover Muppets. Anyway, he was sleeping at his desk, and then everyone came in. There's also a cat. Is the cat also a Muppet? Ow. Can I have a cowboy hat and say meowdy? Well, they are involved in conversations. It's very one-sided because it's a cat and a man, but this is a border village. I'm sure they have some cattle. Well, we'll get to that. Cat Angie. Cat's not supposed to be Angie. That's how I draw cats. Howdy, partner. Anyway, we wake up the inn guy. He's like, oh, sorry, there's no rooms. How many times am I gonna have to draw these 4 characters standing in a line? Draw them once and copy paste until you can draw them with no problems. To be fair, as a quick way of drawing his hairstyle, that's pretty good. The little spiky bits at the front and then just a little sweep up like that. Then curve back around. That works. I'm learning things. Anyway, so it's like, there's just no rooms available. And we're like, has you got anywhere to sleep? We've come a long way. We wanna have a place to stay. And then the guy sort of looks up from his tired stupor and goes, "No, we haven't got." And then he sort of stares off at the back. And Simeon looks back and goes, clearly looking at the princess, is like, "Well, not a good start for the undercover thing." So he tries to deflect. "Hey, don't stare at women like that. It's weird." I think he says something like, "Hey, look, I know she's real pretty, but don't stare." Because obviously everything's got to be slightly flirty with Simeon. Actually, I imagine as part of her disguise, she is probably... She has her butter knife. She's wearing her Moogle onesie. This is part of her disguise. We know Princess Butterknife is pretty. No need to gawk. No, she's not the princess. What are you talking about, you strange person? Right next to the person saying they're full is a donkey, a carpenter, and a Virgin Airlines steward called Mary. Anyway, after sort of snapping himself out of his reverie, he goes, "Oh, sorry, I wasn't that. No, okay. Well, I'll find a room for you. It's fine. Don't worry, no problem." He says, "Yeah, go over there. There should be a room. It can fit 4 people. All's good." And the princess is like, "That's nice. Where am I sleeping?" And Simeon has to go, "Hey, look, we're on the road here. We don't have the luxury of all having our own rooms. You're gonna have to slum it with us, I'm afraid." And James is like, "How dare you!" "Demand the princess sleep with ruffians like you." That we are in a rural town with 1 inn. What else are we gonna do? Also, hey, this is the music I made for this place. Turn it up, why not? I'll restart it as well because it just finished. I'll turn up appropriate music and that's it. Clearly a Moogle named Princess Butterknife. Exactly. I don't know what James is looking at. Or what the perspective of this scene is. This part of the floor is cracking. Don't worry about it. This isn't helping your sleepiness. Oh no. The fireplace. Interesting, the fireplace is over here. Whatever. So yeah, and the group go into the little inn room, and there's 4 beds, and it's all lovely and cozy. And as they leave, the innkeeper Muppet is like, huh, how'd they get out? That's weird. I better call my brother. Talking to the cat. He's like, if I tell my brother about this, he might give me some, he might give me reward money. Because my inn business is failing because we're in a tiny remote village in the middle of nowhere. He's got money woes. He's explaining his money woes to his cat. And he's like, maybe my brother will give me money, reward money for information. Anyway, they all go into the little inn room. It's got 4 beds and it's cozy and comfy. And they have a little discussion about, being on the road and having to get to Lindblom and all that sort of stuff. Simeon and James get into an argument. I forget about what. And they decide to stop their argument short because Vivi fell asleep on the bed because he's still tucking out. So they all have a little sleep, and it's all very pleasant. So then they wake up, and Simeon wakes up and no one else is there. So it's like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go find everyone, see where they are. Someone give Master B Vivi a cute plush Moogle to sleep with. Sorted. Done. Your wish is granted. It's a weird picture, but it, serves the purpose. Right, cool. So they have a little sleep, and Simeon wakes up and no one's there. He's like, cool, I'm gonna go out and find everyone. Make sure we're all together so that we can find out a way to get to the castle from here. This is also when you can get a fortune. I don't know if I can randomly get a fortune. Wiki, give me fortunes. Oh, apparently you get a random lucky color. We can have a random lucky color for this playthrough. You get a different one each playthrough. Kind of fun. Yee. Okay. Roll a d5. Because there's a little thing in the corner of the room that gives you a fortune if you give it 10 gil. Four. Do. Your lucky color is green, and you get a fortune. Your fortune is: there are good days and there are bad days. You may be prone to injury and sickness today. Be careful of losing items and meeting strangers. You are better off staying at home today. Oh, bad fortune. Thanks for nothing, fortune. Then it says, want to buy a gem in your lucky color? We have all colors. Come visit our store in Lindblom's Theatre District. We're located near the air cab terminal. Look for the big clock. I'm going to forget to mention this, by the way. I believe that's Tantalus's place. So they have a side hustle selling little gems and fortunes, stuff like that. Anything to make a bit of coin. Anyway, there we are. You have your fortune, and it's not doing great. Right, so you wander around and you find there's not much point drawing this. You find Princess Butterknife blending in a little shop. She's listening to the conversation between people and trying to imitate sort of bits of speech and language and stuff. So trying to pick up on how to speak common, you know? Howdy, exactly. So she's picked up how to say howdy. Where did she pick up get off me, scumbag? That's something she's taught at some point. If someone grabs you, you just shout at the top of your voice, get off me, you scumbag. But anyway, that's incidental. She's in this shop, she's talking to people, so on and so forth. Some other things that are happening are that Vivi's trying to make friends with the kids of the village, and they keep running away from them, which isn't very fair. But we do find Vivi. Vivi is standing by a little wall overlooking a field. Just by the windmill. The windmill's here. There's the door going in there. Oh, we ran out of music. Try again. You must remember the awkward shop talk and in the field later on for her blending in. She's trying. She is actually trying. She is, however, dressed in a Moogle onesie and calling herself Butterknife, so it's not going great. Also, the song just ended, but you liked that last song for all this. Oh, right, yeah. Oh, sorry, another thing I forgot to mention. Simeon, when Simeon wakes up in the inn, he wakes up hearing a song. There's somebody singing in a very pretty voice. Anyway, Simeon catches up with Vivi, overlooking a field. An empty field. Not a big old empty field. Well, I got the hang of drawing your hair once, but I'm guessing once is as much as I'm going to get today. And Vivi explains the, being slightly disconcerted that all the kids are running away from him. So why are they running away? I didn't do nothing. Oh, don't worry. They're kids, they got their own thing going on. Kids are weird, we know this. Sorry, Vivi. You're a kid. But whatever. You're different, you can cast magic. That's how thumbs work. Anyway, they have a little chat by this wall. And Vivi also says, "Is there? Can you see a?" Okay, we're gonna have to. We've already had this conversation in previous draw-throughs. I'm gonna say Chocobo because that's just what was in my head when I was a kid. These games didn't have voice acting. I'm gonna keep saying Chocobo. I know it's Chocobo. Choke a bow. There's the windmill, there's another building. And then there's just sort of like fields until you get to the edge of the cliffs, and the cliffs are like trailing around like that. But the fields are largely empty. Chocolate bow. What? No, we haven't got to the quack 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 thing. Quack! We haven't got to that yet. But yeah, so Simeon's just like, oh, don't worry about it, it's fine. We're gonna go to the city and then you can go find friends there. It's gonna be great. We're gonna have a good time. Anyway, we're all meeting up in the inn. I've just met up with Butter Knife. And she's back at the inn. I'll see if I can find old Rusty. And then we'll all get together and try and find a way out of it. Chalky bow with some chalky milk. Mm. And you like the sound they make. Yeah, and with that, Simeon wanders off. In search of James. Not trying very hard to find him, to be fair. Oh yeah, sorry, the reason I said Chocobo is because Vivi's like, can you hear an animal? Can you hear a Chocobo? I can't see one, the fields are empty. I was like, oh yeah, that's a bit weird, there's probably one in a building somewhere. It's fine. Hang on. This is just me being silly. Don't worry about it. Anyway, so Vivi's just there and he's going, I'm sure I can hear a chocobo. Where's there a chocobo? There's gotta be a chocobo around here, right? I can hear one. Where is it? And as this is happening. Is there? Somebody grabs Vivi. Meanwhile, Vivi Naparilla. Oh no. Meanwhile, Rusty is helping somebody out in a shop because he's trying to get information, trying to work out if there's any like ships that are going to Alexandria. He wants to go back to the castle. So he's trying to work out if there's anything like that. Nobody actually seems to know, mainly because there don't appear to be any adults around. There's the innkeeper guy, and there's the mayor. There's mostly kids and women. So I can't seem to find anyone who actually has any information, but somebody says, oh, there's the guy on the lookout tower. He'll know. And so he's like, brilliant, I'll go and ask them, and he runs off. No point drawing that. But he's gone to run off to the lookout tower. If we go back here, yeah, there was the village here, and then there's a lookout tower over here. It's quite far away from the village, so that's why we can't find Rusty. But Simeon goes back to the inn, and Butterknife is there now, and Simeon and Butterknife have a chat, and they talk about things, and Simeon tries flirting by talking about all of his adventures and exciting things that's happened in his life and trying to show off. And they chat for a while, and then at some point, Princess goes, where's Vivi? Didn't you tell him to come here? And Simeon's like, oh yeah, that was a good point. Sorry, I was too busy flirting. We should probably go find out where he is. So they go back to the last known location of Vivi, who isn't there. Find the boy! It's been Vivi napped. The continuation of Vivi's real bad no good day. He's been kidnapped. He's really not having a great time, old Vivi. Don't worry, I'm sure it'll improve. How does your hair work, Simeon? It's like, I don't know. Anyway, they come back here and Vivi's not here, and it's like, oh, okay. Bit weird. Maybe he's gone to play with the kids that he was talking about. Try to make some friends. However, they do hear the sound of a chocobo. What Vivi was hearing before. Alright there, Simeon, you look a bit weird. Yes, they do hear the sound of a chocobo, but they don't hear it coming from the fields beyond. They hear it coming from this little pipe down here. I mean, it looks like he's sinking down in the mud going, oh gosh, oh no, whatever will I do? Freeman, calm thine face. Calm thine teats. Calm thyself. So they have a quick little listen to this weird hole in the floor that's making sounds of a chocobo. Traditionally, chocobos not underground. They're not burrowing creatures. It's a little strange. Yeah, Frame was only here for a sec. Yeah, they were refreshing like crazy thinking it was your internet, because it has been your internet for a while, so it's both. Yeah, Frame was here briefly, didn't lose a huge amount, but then again, that might have caused a concatenation with Twitch, because we know what Twitch is like. So yes, they listen to this little pipe coming out of the ground, and they can hear the of a chocobo, of a jacobo, of the chocolate bow, the frosted sugar glazed bow. But they also hear some sniffling, some little and they're like, hello. Hello. And they hear a very scared sounding hello. And it's Vivi. It's Vivi sounding very scared. Where am I? So that's a good point. Where are you? You're in a pipe in the ground. Was that how they took me here? They told me not to talk to anyone. They're like, right. Vivi got sucked down the pipe. No, he didn't get sucked down the pipe. Well, maybe. Well, they got very advanced. They got Mario technology here. Might be. He was kidnapped by a pipe. He got sucked down the pipe. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Now, obviously, the pipe isn't activated at the moment, so our protagonists can't go down there. So they're going to have to find another way in. And it turns out there's a hatch in the windmill that leads to an underground passage, secret underground area. And in that secret underground area, there is a little chocob. There's like a little pipe going up into the ceiling. Underground chalkobs, who would have thought obs? And there's also this little sort of storage hut thing. I don't know exactly what it is, just sort of erected little straw building with some barrels outside. Pretty big barrels. Big enough to hide behind. Let's tell you what. Let's make this a diorama. Not a diorama. What's the word? I don't think there is a word. There might be a word. We're gonna make this one long strip. We're gonna tell a story from left to right. Panorama? Yeah, kind of panorama, sort of. Although I'm thinking more sliding panorama than the angular one. Certainly more along the lines of what I was thinking, so... Who would have thought? Kira knows things. Words hard, I know nothing. Hey, you got a wordle in one. You know words. So the first observation that's made while we're down here is by Butter Knife. Who looks at the barrels and goes, I recognize that. There's a symbol on the barrels, I recognize that. I've seen that back at the castle. Something like a star, something like that. Honestly, Princess Butterknife, I'm really glad you put on the onesie. Makes my life quite easy. Yeah, she's like, yeah, I recognize this symbol on the barrels. I've seen it at the castle. What's happening? Meanwhile, in the little shack, I guess we're in sort of an underground cave thing at the moment. We can't see exactly what's going on. It's all a bit. Things in the way, but there's a couple of people basically shouting at Vivi, going, "How did you get out? What are you doing here? Why are you wandering around up in the town?" And Vivi's very scared. Doesn't say anything. She doesn't know what was going on. It's very scary. Anyway, so they're shouting at Vivi, and it's not very nice. Very not nice at all. I expect more of kidnappers. No joke, you always put in your usual first word today, today's word, or then you remembered last second and went, wait, second word first. Yeah. So rude. They're being mean. Anyway, they take Vivi away somewhere. And you go follow them. Past the Chocobo. And into another series of barrels. You go through a few rooms all filled with like storage crates and barrels and stuff like that. There's a whole thing going on down there. A lot of stuff. This isn't some sort of incidental place. Stuff's happening. Oh hey, it's Spork's theme. They have some operation going on. There's a lot. Anyway, as we're running through, we hear sniffles coming from inside a box. I'm like, right, break it open. And yes, inside we find Vivi. He's like, oh, they put me in a box. I don't know why. What's going on? He's having a no good bad day. Poor child. And everyone else is like, why did they do this? What's happening here? And the answer is, I don't know. They just told me to follow them and they put me in a box. So Vivi is rescued, but we now kind of want to know what the hell's going on here. And I think Simeon actually says, hey, Vivi, I know you've just been kidnapped by these people. Do you want to, we want to go know what's happening here. You don't have to follow us if you don't want to. I know, you know, you probably best not want to explore this place, having just been kidnapped. And Vivi's like, no, I want to know what's happening as well. Poor little Viv. But I do like that Simeon's like, you don't have to. Is it Simeon or is it butter knife, not buttermilk? Butter knife. Princess Buttermilk. Princess Buttered Scones. Either way, one of them says. And that's good enough. Someone actually asks Vivi what they want, which is nice. While we're here, we walk past a machine that leads to a door. And the door is sort of mist is spewing in, so that clearly goes outside where there's a lot of mist. And from there we have a little conveyor belt. Is it a conveyor belt? No, it's like pipes, isn't it? That go into this machine. Again, this is a whole operation going on here. But hey, mist powers machines, we know this. And it's got like gauges and levers and things. big old weird machine from which is coming a sort of conveyor belt. Is it a conveyor belt up top or is it a conveyor belt down? I'm going to say it's up top. I don't think it is, but now that I'm here. Now I've started drawing it. It will eventually turn into one that goes up top, so I don't mind. Egg. It is a conveyor belt. What makes egg? And they're sort of weird looking eggs. I think they look like they're sort of stitched together, made out of fabric or something. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with them. Difficult to tell on a PS1, but orb egg. Yeah, to me they always felt like they were sort of patchwork or something like that. So yeah, this machine is sort of taking the mist and turning it into egg, by the looks of it. Which is, again, not surprising that it can do something like that, because the mist makes monsters. But precisely what these people are doing with it is a question. And this goes through, and there's another little chocobo. Who's powering the treadmill that's making the eggs go. Let's do a little steppy step. No, I don't need this. This is fenced off. With a little Yeshel green on a stick. Just do the Sonic, like Supersonic Choco. Chocobos have tongues? They do now. Anyway, our characters are sort of looking up at this and going, what on earth is happening? This is real weird. And the conveyor belt goes through a little wall. By a little wall, I mean quite a big wall. I'm guessing a decent amount of things happen to it in there. Who are the characters on this one? What on earth is happening? Do you want to hazard a guess? I'm about to tell you. So now would be a good time to come up with some fun ideas. Like I'm telling this. I feel like this area is just very long and sort of horizontal, so it's kind of fun to do a little sort of bio tapestry sort of thing. Wasn't my plan coming into this, but since when have I ever had a plan? There. Is Butter Knife the new Kate Sith? Cat she? Something dressed up like a Moogle? Makes my drawing a costume a lot easier. Anyway, what comes out the other side? The eggs have hatched. Oh joy, the miracle of life, the eggs have hatched. And they have hatched into things that look very, very similar to Vivi. Then you give me that relaxing village music. We're uncovering your secrets, game. Yes, we appear to have stumbled upon what appears to be a factory line for black mages. And Vivi's not taking this too well. What for what? A factory of black mages. They're being made out of mist eggs. There's a machine that takes mist and turns it into egg, and a machine that takes egg and turns it into these. Gives a bit of context as to why the people said, "How did you get out?" They're making Vivas. This a horror game? Not really. Existentially, perhaps. If I had to describe the story, the main theme of this game in one word, it's existentialism. And you're starting to see why. And you're also starting to see why Vivi is basically the protagonist of this game. Now, they don't look exactly the same. It's too early in the game for whatever this is. Don't worry, it's fine. So these don't look exactly the same. Vivi has different clothes. Vivi's much shorter. These are sort of like fully grown adult size mages, which is weird, arguably. But they're not wearing the same sort of clothes. It's not a one-for-one match. But it's still pretty weird, given that you haven't really seen anything like a Vivi anywhere else. Well, we have seen something like Vivi somewhere else, haven't we? We saw them in a cave. There. But that's the only other time we've seen it. And only Simeon saw that. Vivi has a cute little Moogle plush, differences like that. Exactly. That's what makes Vivi Vivi. And you're starting hitting the nail on the head of the point of this game. Vivi's a child. I mean, these appear to be adults. So yeah, this is happening, and Butterscotch is consoling Vivi, like, "Are you okay? This is really weird. Are you okay?" Vivi's like, "I want to know what's going on. What's happening? I'm very confused." And so we continue along the production line, trying to work out what's going on. And we're trying to be stealthy about this. We're not trying to, cause a ruckus. Because, presumably, I think maybe we hear something about this over eavesdropping conversations or something like that. But there was a reason that the village only had women and children in it, and that's because all the men are down here. So the entire adult male population of this village is down here. And we don't really want to annoy them. So we're trying to be stealthy, right? You'd also like to know what's going on, Master Baby Vivi. Hang on, I could probably save myself a little bit of bother. So we hear a bunch of people coming along. We're like, "Oh, bloody hell, we've got to hide. Quick, get in the box. Everyone get in boxes." This, Simeon feels, is a good idea. Never mind that we just had to rescue Vivi from a box. And that maybe this might have some unexpected bad vibes. For the Vive. Simeon, are you stupid? The answer is yes. Next question. Like, everyone hide in a box. And while they're hiding in the boxes, Kel Surprise those boxes get hoisted upon the conveyor system and dumped into a bunch of barrels. This, I'm going to assume, is the brother of the innkeeper. So yeah, for context for what the innkeeper was going on about giving information and to the brother, and the fact that he's the only one in this village not making money is because he's the only one not working down here, and the information was not about the princess, it was about Vive. Also, I keep saying Vive. This is to avoid confusion with Christie's character from 16 Symbols. Or the Dishonored RPG. Yeah, these all then get packed onto things and so on and so forth. Yeah, also him looking at the princess was not him looking at the princess, but with Vivi. Exactly. I didn't specify that he was looking at the princess. I specified that he was looking at the back of the group. It was Simeon who went, "Hey, don't stare at the princess." This is clever. The writing in this is kind of fun. Good little scenes. Misdirection. Some fun stuff. Would that be a good place to stop? Probably. With 3 of our heroes stuck in crates, and 1 of our heroes not even in the village they're in. Having run off somewhere else. James gonna want you to save them regardless. James will do what James does best, i.e. be a bumbling idiot. And that may work to our advantage. For now, though, welcome to Dali. It's a bit of a weird place. There's just a conspiracy going on underground where they're manufacturing mages. Sometimes you need a bumbling idiot, and sometimes you can make an entire cast out of them. And Vivi. Vivi's the protagonist, goddammit. We're starting to see why. I'm glad you had a good reaction to this, because this is quite a turn in the story, isn't it? But yeah, with that, we can have a look at our little scroll, can't we? Working our way along the production line. Back through the storage area, rescued Vive. There's the chocobo, Vivi being yelled at, and some barrels. Quite a turn indeed. Leg bones connect to the hip bone, the hip bone's connected to the head bone. It's very unclear as to whether black mages in this world can take off their hats. I'm assuming not. Yeah, all the times I mentioned a quaint, nice, sleepy town. Chris was composing the song for Dali. Yeah, it is a quaint, sleepy town. It's just what's going on underneath it. It's a bit weird. Went from kidnapping shenanigans and acting stuff to a town fabricating people underneath. Yeah, yep. Don't worry, it doesn't get worse than that. It doesn't get weirder. Nothing strange happens from now on. Anyway. Never recall them taking them off even when I sleep. That might have been a limitation with the PS1, but I'm going to assume not, because I also don't actually think they have heads. I think they're just sort of a void that's being encapsulated by hat and collar. Tomato smile, yee. Anyway, how are you enjoying Vivi's super happy, fun, no good day? At least he slept a couple of times. He's had a couple of good naps. It's about the only good thing that's happened. May not know a lot about Final Fantasy, you know that things are going to get worse and weirder always. Yeah. It's going to be a while before they get worse. Well, it depends what you mean by worse. Worse for Vivi, maybe. But anyway, thanks for coming along. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah. Hope you had a good time. I'll be back tomorrow morning with a new idea, what I came up with this afternoon. I'm not going to be doing the... I'm not going to be continuing the crow doodles because I want to actually rough out what I want to do with those and then just work on them in my spare time. Whatever spare time I can find. But I have another little idea which I think would be fun. It kind of ties into the Final Fantasy sort of thing. I have no idea if it's going to be good or entertaining, but it'll be something I haven't done before. And Croodles. But yeah, so there's we're gonna give it a go. So I thought it'd make a change from just constantly doing all these crow drawings. And then there'll be presumably a Jib Thursday on Thursday with more casino shenanigans. What with the Jack that's not Jack? Yee! Exciting times. So yeah, stream will be back Thursday morning, and then Saturday morning for some Muzak. Saturday evening for Sulasta. Yeah. Tis as tis. More Timothy. Your son. My son. And that's what I was reminded of. When I was checking the raid alert to make sure that it was working. Turns out it's supposed to be working, but it isn't. Thanks. I forgot that my raid alert is my sons attack the gates. That's an old one, isn't it? It's an old meme. More adventures with Jack's hot goo man. Yes, hot Jack goo. That quote's in the bot, by the way. My sons attack the gates. Yeah. Something's wrong with the back end of my randomizer. Yeah. I do actually need to update my randomizer before I start my October stuff, which I may start. I'm going to try and start at the beginning of August, which means I've got to get a lot of stuff done before August. I want to get the Crow Doodles done. I want to get Sticker Shop open. I want to get a bunch of other bits and bobs done as well, so that I have free time not being taken up by anything other than October things. How many quotes do we have by now? What I could probably add to the bot quote 50 out of so on. That's something I could probably do. Don't say enough curse stuff. You need to catch up. That's fair. Will James, who am I? The Queen? Okay, so that's a relatively recent one. So we're not too far off that. Not 140. Marika's tits, not 140. Not 140. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. Steady supply of quotes that always seem to keep happening. I can have me as a friend. I don't remember saying that. Oh no, I do. Yeah, that Elden Ring mimic tier. Still haven't used that. There we go. There it is. That's probably the newest one. So 137, if anyone wants to remember that. 137. Why does that sound like a familiar number? 13, I don't know. Stanley was employee number 427. Not that. Anyway, I'm gonna head off now. You're forgetting. Someone will remember. No 139 yet. I'm sure it'll come in time. Anyway, have a lovely time, everybody. Thanks for being here. Hope you enjoyed. I hope you're looking forward to next week's installment of Vivi's existential crisis. And yeah, I'll be seeing you around. Have a grand old one, everybody. Look after yourselves. Goodbye. 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 Bye.